What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Hardwood Convos podcast here on the 515 Podcast Network. I'm Brock Beirman alongside Hunter Rose. Just us two this week as we get ready for the NBA playoffs starting today, I think around noon, 12:30-ish. And outside of March Madness, this is probably my favorite postseason tournament, postseason anything. I mean, bowl games used to be, very fun to watch. I mean, they still are, but they're not what they used to be, like what it was like when we were growing up. But I don't know about you, Hunter. I'm excited for the playoffs. And again, like I said, outside of March Madness, this is my favorite postseason tournament.
Yeah, I think that's fun too. These are some exciting first round matchups. Except for a couple that Brock and I already talked about even before we started the podcast this morning. But overall though, like especially in the West, absolutely love those matchups. Over in the East, mostly love those matchups. So it's gonna be a fun few weeks to start us off. So
Yeah, and I mean, if we want to give a little quick recap of the play-in tournament, both the Pelicans and the Lakers were able to punch their ticket to the playoffs on the West side. And then on the East, we have the 76ers and the Heat. So both the 7 and 8 seeds of what would have been the playoffs anyways, kind of fit similar way. I mean, I think the Lakers were the 8 seed in that play-in tournament, so they may have moved up a spot. But, like, it was the two teams that record wise, if there wasn't a play in tournament, they would have both been in. And I mean, on both sides. And honestly, it has created some interesting matchups in the first round. When you look at the West side with the Nuggets and Lakers, and then you look at the East side, the same old when it comes to the NBA playoffs. The Celtics and Heat are matching up once again in the NBA playoffs.
this time not in the conference finals, though, Brock. This time you don't have to worry about it being like the last barrier. Instead, you just gotta fight the demons right off the bat.
And
It's fine.
so last week on the podcast, because I think you were busy with stuff, we talked about one team from each side that, like, I think it was on the West side, we did one team not named the Nuggets that could make it to the finals. And then we did one team from the East side not named the Celtics or Bucks that could make the finals. And I think on the West side, if I remember correctly, Chase and I both went the Lakers. I can't remember who Dawson went with. It wouldn't have shocked me if he went with the Timberwolves, because he's been on the Timberwolves pretty much all year. And then on the East side, they both went Cleveland. Kind of shocked me a little bit. I don't. Well, I mean, let me rephrase that. Chase agreed with Dawson that Cleveland's a good pick to make the finals. It not named the Celtics or Bucks, but I went with the 76ers. I'm telling you that when this Sixers team is healthy, man, they are hard to beat. They're really fun to watch. I'm not going to lie, which pains me to say because I absolutely hate Philadelphia. And I'm telling you, man, when we start diving in and getting to our little picks and previews when it comes to this playoffs, I think the Sixers are shaped up for a good run.
Yeah, I didn't think too that's different with the Sixers is like last year they were an incredible 3-point shooting team, especially in the regular season, top of the league. I don't think they are this year. If I remember, I think I don't even know where they're at. But especially like if you think about in the postseason, like 3-point shooting becomes a big deal. I mean, when I think of the series I shall not name, when a certain team that I cheer for lost, the opposing team was shooting absolutely ridiculously. It's like it has to be there. And like the Sixers, even though their 3-point, shooting numbers went down, their 3-point shooters in general went up. I mean, they got Buddy Hield,
Yeah,
consistent shooter.
consistent.
The fact that this goes all the way into the off season last year. The fact they got Kelly Oubre, who averaged 20 points for the Hornets. Granted, it's the Hornets. The year before, for that cheap is insane. I don't know what the NBA has against Kelly Oubre. Besides, I'm not a huge fan of him personally either. But like, he's a good player. Maxey taking that next step, being in that most improved realm here, and now Embiid's back. Who just casually averaged like 70 points against the Spurs because he played them once. But they are scary. They are scary. I remember shout out college roommate Isaac. He texted me. He's a Knicks fan. He's like, "Yeah, give me that 2 seed." Like,
No, you
You can
don't.
take Embiid. Like, go for it, man. Like, yeah, you can have him. I don't want to deal with that first round because that's what he actually performs well. But yeah, that'd be the one thing that I think I would have against the 76ers. I don't know where, who is Joel Embiid gonna be? Is he gonna be, years past where the Celtics ultimately choke, or the 76ers
Whoa. You didn't have to do that.
against the Celtics last year? Or is he finally going to make his first Eastern Conference Finals?
That still blows me away that he hasn't made one
First.
yet. Real quick, Dawson commented on the show and he said he picked the Mavs to come out of the West, which again, great
Dawson.
pick. Great
Yes,
pick.
Dawson.
Which Hunter's kind of previewing a little bit of what he's got cooking with his predictions. But with the East is so weird because it's like I'd rather be, like you mentioned, that 3-4 seed playing up against the 5-6 seed than playing against one of these playing teams. And granted, Miami's without Jimmy Butler for pretty much the first round, it sounds like. But it's Miami. Miami in the playoffs, they always find some stupid way to contend or make a deep run or have a certain player go off that is not really that good. I mean, heck, when's the last time you've heard Duncan Robinson and playing good basketball in the same sentence since the bubble? Like, let's come on, people. But dude, as a Celtics fan, I am nervous for this first round matchup, even with Jimmy Butler out. I mean, heck, last night the Heat played unbelievable without Jimmy, and that's not something the Celtics fans like myself want to see.
Yeah, that is a little scary. Yeah, I think watch Haywood Highsmith and Jaime Jaquez average like 62 points between the two of them for this series. It would not shock me in the slightest because they have the voodoo magic. So
I don't know what that franchise does. I don't know if they sold their soul to the devil or something like that. But
no, it is Pat Riley. I would not put it out of any sort of possibility that could happen. Don't come after me, please.
And I mean, the only thing that is making me feel confident in this matchup, though, is that Kristaps Porzingis has been an unbelievable asset to the Celtics this year. Like, I don't know if you can stress it enough. I don't think even Kristaps Porzingis realized how big of an addition he was going to be to the Celtics franchise. I mean, he was a good addition when the trade happened. I was pretty happy. There wasn't really anything about it that was upset, but now dude is only almost shooting 70% from the post this year, which is like first in the NBA. Granted, Bam's a good defender. It may be a tough matchup, but Porzingis is going to be the X factor for the Celtics team on whether or not they're going to make the finals and whether or not they're going to win the finals.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the thing that definitely scares me a lot with the Celtics is like overall, like when you think of like depth during the regular season, you go 9 guys, 10 guys deep. As soon as the playoff hits, that it goes out of question. It is a rarity to see 10 guys, be on the floor, like all get minutes. The Celtics have like an almost perfect like 6 to 7 man lineup. Absolutely perfect. And the way like Peyton Pritchard's been playing too, it like really helps out to like round out that roster. So it's gonna make things really scary, especially, to then play, on the other side, just hyping up the Heat. They don't really have that same kind of depth that the Celtics do in that regard. Granted, like we said, some devil magic here and there. So you see someone step up, but it's like they don't have that for sure answer of who are the people that are going to be that step up. With the Celtics, it's like I feel like we all know who it is, and and at the same time, it could be anybody, and
yeah,
that's a real possibility, not a magical fantasy land kind of thing.
and I mean, you can look at the numbers from the last couple playoffs when Miami's faced up against the Celtics. Derek White has been pretty much the most consistent player in this matchup, and I'm telling you, the most important players on the Celtics aren't even Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Derek White and Kristaps Porzingis are the two most important players on this roster. And you mentioned Pritchard. Pritchard's been playing great basketball, and it's crazy to even think about that because last offseason, he just came off of a season where I think a lot of people may have expected him to play a little more, and he didn't really. Playoffs, he basically didn't even play.
Yeah.
Because of Malcolm Brogdon, who was a good player for the Celtics. And it sounded like they were going to keep Brogdon and get rid of Pritchard. And instead, they did the exact opposite. And here we are now, and Pritchard's making a good contribution to this franchise. And I don't know, it'll be a fun matchup. Fun matchup for people that are not Celtics fans, because Celtics fans are not looking forward to this matchup. I can tell you right now.
I'm really excited, Brock. If I find it, I'll send it to you, and maybe you could repost it or share it with others. But I hope for your sake you don't have to watch Drew Holiday get a tip off, run towards the basket, circle around, and pull up for three for like 2 seconds into the game.
If that
If you have
happens,
to
dude,
deal
I'm
with,
turning it off. If that happens, I'm turning it off.
I was ready to when that happened to me. So for your sake, I hope it doesn't. So it would.
But looking at the other Eastern Conference matchups, obviously we can go to that 2 seed. Knicks and 76ers, we mentioned. What kind of 76ers team are we going to get? I do feel better about this 76ers team than in years past. Maybe is that probably going to be because of, they don't have Ben Simmons or James Harden? Probably. If I'm being honest, those two were issues for that franchise when it comes to key moments, and it just didn't work out. Tyrese Maxey is a great player. I love watching him. He's a baller. If he can handle and somehow find a way to stop Brunson and the Knicks, I don't think it's going to be hard for them to even win, maybe in 5. I think that they could easily win this series.
Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, I agree because I think the thing with the Knicks too is I don't remember who it was exactly. I remember somebody on ESPN, I want to say, because I don't think it was Ramona Shelburne. It might have been somebody else, Becky Hammond maybe. Mentioned something about how like Jalen Brunson's like too small in the sense of like getting playoff success.
Oh yeah, I remember
What was ridiculous is that she's not wrong, if we're being honest here. It's not, she wasn't saying like he's a bad player. She wasn't saying that he can't lead to success, especially in the regular season, or can be a all-star perennial player. It was just a matter of fact, if we look at the playoffs, even when like the Warriors and you have Steph Curry that was going off, it was like the rest of the team was constructed perfectly. With the Knicks, it's like it's Jalen Brunson, then who? Like, who is it actually going to be? Because Dante is playing great. I'll give him that. Josh Hart's playing great. Everyone on that roster is fulfilling their role perfectly. But when we get to the playoffs, it becomes a whole nother animal where like multiple people are going to have to like play at an even higher level than what was unthought of for them probably 4 or 5 months ago. And when you think of the Sixers, it's like they have Embiid, they have Tyrese. There we go. They have a 1-2 punch, and everybody else is a perfect placement around him to be able to spot up and shoot. With the Knicks, it's like Jalen's gonna have to drop like 50 a game to stay relevant, for the Knicks to stay relevant here, in my opinion. So it's tough, but I just don't see it happening, to be honest, which is crazy to say for a 2 and a 7 seed. But
well, and like you talked about how you'd rather be the 3 or 4 seed when it comes to who you would be matching up with if you're the Knicks. And the reason is because the Magic and Pacers have little to no experience in the playoffs. And last year, Cleveland and New York matched up. And I mean, the lights were too bright for one team. And the Knicks were able to come out and win the series. But like, again, Cleveland at that time was still developing their playoff experience as well. You're going up against the 76ers team that has been through countless moments of sadness in the playoffs. And they're looking for that one spark that gets them over the hump, or one spark that just fuels them, drives them through a playoff series. And Embiid does not, I think this is the most determined Embiid has probably ever been when it comes to trying to make a playoff run. Which, I mean, he's been in better situations seeding wise, but he realizes that his timetable with the 76ers specifically, winning a title or even making a conference finals appearance, like you mentioned earlier, it's close to being closed, man. Like we're getting to the end of where the 76ers team could potentially go. And That's scary if I'm a New York Knicks fan.
Yeah, I think too. It's like I won't mention who their past coach was for obvious reasons, but they do have Nick Nurse now. Like that is a change. That might be really really helpful for them this year. Just to have a different coach be able to step in, because I mean, I'm trying to think. Obviously, the Raptors haven't been the most relevant team the past few years, but Nick Nurse, regardless, is still a pretty good coach. So
I still think he's one of the best coaches in the league. I mean, I'm giving too much credit for the 76ers, man. It's hurting me. We have to talk about how the Celtics are matching up against the Heat again, and now I have to give praise to the 76ers. Like, come on. Moving on from that, we got the 3 seed and 6 seed matchup between the Bucks, your Bucks, Hunter, and the Indiana Pacers. I mean, the script was out, man. They wanted these two teams to match up, especially after the little regular season scrum that happened with the who gets the game ball. It'd be hilarious if like both teams in game one, like Tyrese breaks the record for most assists in a game, and Dame Lillard breaks it for most threes in a game. And that would be absolutely hilarious to see. How are you feeling? I know a lot of people, for some reason, are liking the Pacers in this matchup. I mean, Giannis is out. I don't remember how long he's out for, so maybe you can fill me in a little bit on that. But should I even really be considering the Pacers to win this matchup?
So here's the thing. Right? So the Pacers, I think, on paper, when you hear Giannis being out potentially for multiple games, and when you just look at the Pacers won like the season series, then it's like, all right, then it's over. Like the Bucks have been struggling as of late. Everyone's like, it's obvious. All those are valid points. However, one fun fact on Pat Bev's podcast, he may have leaked a little bit about how everyone should be back, maybe even by game one. He did not name names of who everyone is, but he did say everyone. I believe it was specifically everyone or anyone, something like that. Because we literally 2021, we all watched Giannis's knee bend backward, and he came back a series later, like 4 games later. The man has adamantium bones.
I was gonna say they don't call him the Greek Freak for no reason.
It is insane. And so he could be back. I hope they don't rush him. That's my one concern. Is like, if he's not actually good, please, for the love of God, don't play him game 1. Point 2, Damian Lillard has the highest playoff game score in NBA history against the Nuggets a few years ago. Do not count Damian Lillard out before he even has a chance in the playoffs, because the last time he was in the playoffs, the man was insane. Is this the same Damian Lillard? I don't know. But you can't just be like, all right, it's over, especially the way that, like, man, the Pacers, obviously they're still a good team. I love Tyrese. They have not exactly been playing at the same exact level that they were at the beginning of the season, though. Hence the 6 seed. They're still a great team. I think they've been playing better as of late, too, which helps them out a bit and makes us look a little bit worse. But overall, it's like the moment Giannis is on the floor, the points in the paint skyrocket. Their defense is atrocious down low. Miles Turner, I'm sorry, he's not a good defender. I'll say it too. Brook Lopez is not a good defender. They're both block merchants. They just get cooked on anything outside of the paint. So, and even in the paint, it's Giannis. So I think that's where it just becomes a thing is, one, are we actually going to be shooting better than, 16% from 3-point range for once in the playoffs in the past 2 years? And whenever Giannis gets back, I think it's just like, it'll be competitive, but I see this being over in 6 games. Probably.
What if Dame turns into Drew Holiday, man?
Then we still have Chris Middleton. Then we still have him. That's our X factor there too. So I was gonna say, you better hope with who your head coach is that this doesn't go to 7 games, man. I'm telling you. No, if Giannis Antetokounmpo wins the finals with Mike Budenholzer and Doc Rivers as his coach, he is the GOAT. I'm sorry. Like I don't make the rules. He will be the GOAT of basketball. Just say it. No, like
No,
it doesn't
ands or
happen.
buts. I mean, when I look at this bracket, I'm not gonna lie, and maybe this is a hot take. If there was a sweep where I could confidently say that I think there could be a sweep, it would be this Bucks Pacers matchup. That my honest opinion. I just granted Giannis is out, but like you said, Lillard in the playoffs. People always talk about playoff Jimmy, playoff Jimmy. People will forget about what Damian Lillard can do when he's in the postseason. He does take that extra step. Honestly, he takes a bigger step than Jimmy Butler does, and people just don't realize that. And that's why I hate why everybody just gives Jimmy Butler all the praise for his playoff performances when Damian Lillard is one of the most consistent beasts on the playoff side of things. And I mean, he's not Drew Holiday. He can't be Drew Holiday, right? He can't be. So like I think even without Giannis, I think the Bucks can find a way to sweep the Pacers. And if let's say they win the first 3 games, or if it's 2-1, 3-1, if I'm the Bucks, I don't even consider bringing Giannis back until the second round, or if it gets to game 6. If it's 3-2, then it's a different situation.
Yeah.
But if they get a big lead early on in this series, don't even bring him back, because a 75% Giannis is not as good as even a 76% Giannis. Because literally, when it comes to impact on the court, Giannis is probably the most dominant player in the NBA. And this is not me saying that he's better. Maybe depending on who you're talking to outside of Jokic. I'm not saying that Jokic.
I'll say who's better, Brock. I
Yes,
think we all know who's saying who's better.
I'm not saying that that Jokic is better than Giannis. Just ways that he can take over the game. I think Giannis. No one comes close to Giannis right now, and it's just how he's built and how he's able to play the game. And I get people like will be like, "Well, he can't stretch the floor out that much." Okay, that's great. I mean, he's gotten better shooting. He's gotten better shooting, but that doesn't matter. His inside game, no one can compete with. His length, his size, his athleticism, his strength. Nothing comes close to what Giannis is like in the postseason too. And when you got Giannis and Dame together, this is what. Again, this is kind of a slap to Giannis's face because Aldridge is nowhere close to what Giannis was like. But this is probably would have been as close to what a prime Aldridge and a prime Lillard on the same team would have looked like for Portland.
That's a good point.
And that's because I don't know, the team kind of fills out the same way when you look at their rosters. But Giannis is better than Aldridge. I just want to make sure that people know that. But this is the one team that I think that could pull off a sweep in the East side is the Bucks. And then we got the Cleveland Magic series. I mean, I think Mitchell's going to probably average like 35, 40. I know you love the Magic. I know you love Banchero. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Man, I love the Magic. They stink at shooting the ball.
You're good at picking teams that are not good at shooting the ball.
Yeah.
Stay away from my Celtics.
Oh, Brock, you don't know what I'm about to do. So for all our Cyclone fans out there, we'll love this series. It's gonna be pure defensive hoops. We're about to average like 89 points a game for each team. So this is the series you want to. But like this, if I were to say, well, maybe this is too far. If I were to say there's a sweep, this is where I would say would be. And not that it's
really?
like I'm not counting out the Magic. I'm not like, oh, they stink. I think it'll be competitive. It's just I just don't know, man. Like defense wins championships, right? However, in the NBA, great offense beats great defense. Like this is like players can make anything at any point. Which is the difference maker between, in my opinion, professional and amateur collegiate basketball, is that these guys just make shots all the time. And so when you have a team like the Magic that struggles a little bit more with that compared to the Cavs who have somebody like Donovan Mitchell, it, I just don't see him winning, to be honest. It's a tough matchup for him, I think, too,
That's a good point. And
to
I
be
mean, they
down
also
low.
have Dean Wade, you know.
And the legendary Dean Wade, who will be seeing the Celtics next series, Brock. Let it be known. Second round matchup, Dean Wade is coming for you.
You
I
know,
bet you didn't realize that one.
just when I like can get excited for the playoffs, I just get I'm just sad before the Celtics even tip off, and they don't even tip off until Sunday. So I get like
Oh my
it's
gosh.
just but we'll get back to the East side to give our like predictions and all that, but we'll move over to the Western Conference, which we're missing a team that we're normally seeing in the playoffs. What do you before we even get to previewing these matchups, what do you think is the current state of the Golden State Warriors? What do you think they're going to do? And do you think Klay Thompson, Curry, and or Draymond Green are on the roster next year?
I mean, I think it's kind of. I remember we talked about this a little bit like during the season. Like, I think it's over. Like, I I still think the Warriors probably. I think they try to keep Curry. He's still Steph Curry.
I mean, they'd be dumb to try to get rid of him.
Exactly. Unless you get Wemby for Curry.
Oh yeah.
And I don't see the Spurs saying yes to that. But yeah, I mean, there's just been so much around like Klay Thompson leaving the past like week and a half, even that I just don't see it. And you can tell like it's different like this time, like in how they lost. That is just like this really like is it. Like this is the end of their trio run. Which is kind of sad. But at the same time, like you I saw a tweet that was like you'd be a sick man if you were not feeling bad for the Warriors, but like I kind of feel a little sick because like at the same time, like you've been this good for this long. It's about time. But at the same time, like it's still like, man, like I mean, not to get nostalgic here, but that's what we watched like in high school and even before high school, and like the thing that's over. It's like, dang, like that's kind of tough. But yeah, I think Clay's gone. I think Draymond's gone. Curry's staying, and I hope that's what happens, and that the Warriors kind of get ready to even move past Curry within the next few years, given his age. So
They need to get rid of Andrew too.
yeah, they should have at the trade deadline, but they didn't. So
The Celtics allowed not that they allowed, they tried. They gave the Warriors the title because they knew that they would give Andrew Wiggins a bag. And now and now the Warriors are regretting it because he has not played the same since that matchup. Dude was unbelievable in the final. That whole Warriors team was unbelievable in the finals against the Celtics. Like the Celtics literally had to make everything to even stay in that. The fact that it went 6 games still blows my mind. Game 1, the only reason that the Celtics won was because Al Horford could not miss from 3-point range. Like it took those things for the Celtics to even stay relevant in that round. Like was I confident a little bit after each game that the Celtics won? Of course. I mean, that's what any fan would be like. But like also at the same time, back in my mind, it's the freaking Warriors. It's that's just who they are. But if it is the end for the trio, what a run. I mean, one of the most dominant eras of basketball, completely changed the way that the game is actually played. I mean, more 3-point shots are taken now than ever. And the 15-footer mid-range shot has kind of went away from the game because now people would rather take a 3-point shot than a 15-footer. So,
which is crazy because they had Sean Livingston, who's never missed a mid-range jumper ever in his NBA career.
Amen. Amen. But getting back to the playoffs here, Thunder Pelicans. I mean, Zion, go figure, is hurt again. So I don't know how long he's out. I think it's like a week or two that they're going to reevaluate. So that doesn't even mean that he's going to be even healthy to even play. I mean, knowing the situation that like there's a lot of pressure on him to actually play now, that I wouldn't be shocked if he may show up late in the series if they somehow get a game or two early on. But I know that the Thunder don't have much playoff experience. Pelicans kind of do, but like not enough to make it scary or like worth being like, oh, this 8 seed can pull it off. I don't think this will be a good series. It's gonna be a train wreck.
Yeah, it makes me sad. I was really hoping for a Pels like 5 or 6, and they didn't get it. So instead,
They're
they
weird.
get
They have
Thunder.
talent. They just can't put it together, man. And when I saw that they were playing the Kings in the play-in for the 8 seed, I almost wanted the Kings to win because I think the Kings could have made it more of an interesting series against the Thunder than the Pelicans. But it is what it is. I mean, do you have any thoughts on this matchup, or do you want to just move on to that 2-7 seed?
I think I'd get too depressed if we touched on it more. So I'd be fine with moving on.
2-7 seed. I mean, this is a matchup I am dying to see. Nuggets and Lakers. Nuggets have had the Lakers number for a while now. For a while. Jokic has absolutely dominated against the Lakers. And I mean, I know you don't like talking about Jokic, but you can't deny that he hasn't been really good in this matchup, which is interesting because Anthony Davis is one of the better rim protectors, one of the better defenders in the league as a 4-5 position. I said last week, the Lakers, if I'm the Lakers, I want to play the Nuggets round 1 because if you're wanting to make the finals, if you're the Lakers, if you want to make the finals, I'm 99.99% sure no matter what the situation was in the seeding, you would have to go through the Nuggets at some point. So get it out of the way. Get maybe similar to the Celtics. Get that one team that you've had the most issues with in the playoffs or just in general over the last couple years. Get it out of the way. If you win it, you have a really, really good chance on making a deep run. And I don't know, something about this time around feels different. I have said it a lot, which again is pains me so much to say that the Lakers have one of the best all around teams in terms of depth and just talent because Dinwiddie's good, D'Lo's good, LeBron obviously, Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, all those guys similar kind of to the Celtics. I mean, LeBron doesn't have to go off. We've seen numerous situations where he's sitting on the bench. I mean, heck, I think they destroyed the Celtics and him and Anthony Davis weren't even playing in that game earlier this year. So I actually really like the Lakers to come out on top. I feel like they're starting to play their best form of Laker basketball this year towards the end of the season. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I one pick the Lakers to win, but 2, I also hope the Lakers win because we all know my feelings about a certain team in Denver, Colorado. But
the Rockies.
That too. But I think, and like this isn't a hot take. All right, I'm not trying to be here to be like this is a revolutionary idea. Anthony Davis will decide this series.
Yeah.
It's like the man needs to show up this time. There's a certain joke about him not performing against European centers. And unfortunately, it's not just a joke. Like it just happens. And this time, the man needs to like actually lead this team. You still have LeBron. It's not that LeBron can't lead this team. It's not that he's still LeBron James in the NBA playoffs yet again. But I think this is the time that AD, I mean, when you look at the bubble, it's like AD, you have to like step up. You have to do something here. Like you have to be the defensive monster that all of these Laker fans say you should be in this conversation every year. You actually need to show that this time. And you actually need to make your jump shots this time. Like all these Laker fans say you should. Sorry, not sorry, Chase. It's just that's just how it is. But I agree though with the amount of talent they have, it's hard to count them out unless they all underperform, which has happened.
Yeah, that I will say that this Lakers roster, and I'm talking post trade deadline, post Dinwiddie signing, I don't think has played the Nuggets yet. So that will be an interesting thing to keep an eye out for because I think Dinwiddie could be low key a sneaky, like quiet, like killer when it comes to this series. And you talk about Anthony Davis needing to step up. I totally agree. But at the same time, I don't think you can stop Jokic completely. So you gotta walk into this series being like, okay, there's no way we're 100% going to stop Jokic. He's going to get his numbers because he gets his numbers every game. It's stopping everybody else, stopping Murray, stopping Porter Jr., stopping Aaron Gordon. If they can do that, which I think they can, given the talent that they have on their roster, I like the Lakers.
I forgot about the last time they played was in March when LeBron got his 40K. Michael Porter Jr. did not miss a single shot.
Of course,
and they won. So I literally, as you're like, I agree. It's like,
hasn't LeBron like lost every game that he's broken some record or done something?
Yeah, and it's always against the Nuggets too. That's the funniest part about that whole thing. It's always against the Nuggets. But yeah, like you said, Jokic is going to do his thing. Just don't. Obviously, like if you let Jokic score 50, that's a problem.
Yes.
Regardless,
you can't completely disregard him, but at the same time, you can't go into it being like, I'm going to hold him below 20.
Because that's the thing. Like, I'm gonna try and not get heated about this. Jokic will drop 20 points and it'll be like, he had a fantastic game. It's like he dropped 20 points. Anthony Simons drops 20 points regularly. Can we stop this? It's just, but in the playoffs, it's like if he gets 50, then it's a problem. If he gets 30, that's a problem. You have to expect him to get his 20. You gotta expect him to get his 13 rebounds. You gotta expect him to get his 9.8 assists and become the greatest player of all time, supposedly. Everybody else, though, like you said, it's like Murray. I still, the Murray I remember is the bubble Murray, and like the duel between him and Donovan Mitchell that was just absolutely insane. If you get that Murray, the Lakers will be done for. There's nobody, in my opinion, there's nobody that's going to be able to stop both of them, even though they still have great defenders. Because then all of a sudden, who's going to defend the 6'10" Michael never passed the rock Porter Jr. That's going to make that tough. So
you mentioned Anthony Davis not having a good or just not having good performances against white Europeans. And it reminds me, and the only reason it reminds me is because I was working last night for the Iowa Cubs. But the Iowa Cubs have a reliever / closer. His name's Cam Sanders. This dude, I'm not even joking. His first appearance at the plate, first person that he's going up against. If he walks the guy, he's walking the next 3 people. I'm not even joking. If he strikes out the guy, he's striking out the next 2 people. I'm not even joking. This and I've been preaching this since year 1. This is year 3 for me. I'm doing less with the Cubs this year though, but I've been preaching it. This guy, if he walks the first guy, I'm taking him out. No, you do not leave him in. And so I asked my boss on Wednesday when I worked, because I didn't work the Tuesday game. I was like, did Cam pitch last night? And he's like, yep. And he walked the first person and proceeded to walk more people. And he's like, I'm starting to believe your theory on his first appearance at the plate matters so much in whether or not he's going to be good or not.
Iowa Cubs, get this man in the bullpen. Why is he not in there making those choices? Come on now.
Like, I don't know baseball. I really don't follow baseball, but I do know Cam Sanders, and I know whether or not he's going to be good or not. At the same time, biggest Cam Sanders fan that you can find, not named Sanders as the last name. But getting back to the NBA, it's going to be a great matchup between Nuggets and Lakers. But switching over to the other LA team, Clippers versus your Western Conference team, Dallas Mavericks. I think I know where you're going with this because, actually growing up, you did watch a lot. First of all, being a Clippers fan during the Blake Griffin era, Blake Griffin announced his retirement. Do you have any thoughts?
Goodbye and good riddance. I don't like that guy anymore.
Oh, gosh.
I can't stand it. Ever since that Brooklyn Nets series, I cannot stand the guy. Same with Chris, because okay, little throwback here. Chris Paul used to be my favorite player.
Oh, yeah.
Ever. I loved Chris Paul.
You used to praise Chris Paul.
And then he tried injuring my great Greek demigod in the NBA Finals, and I was like, that's it. Like, I I have no relation with either of these human beings anymore. So yeah, I mean, shout out Blake. I guess you should
I
get a
guess.
statue at the new Clippers place. Stop taking charges when players are airborne. Thank you.
That's great. I wanted to give you the floor for that because I didn't know if you wanted to say anything nice, but apparently
Nope.
not. No, I was not expecting that. I'm not gonna lie. Full disclosure to those that don't know. So Hunter was a Clippers fan growing up, but he
Yep.
did before the Bucks were who the Bucks are now.
Yep.
He did become a Bucks fan when they were
Yep.
really, really
Yep.
bad.
Was
So
in the Lob City era, and then switched to all Wisconsin teams except the Badgers fandom.
which is okay with me.
The Sensei Rose lore.
But getting back to the matchup, Clippers Mavericks. I think the Mavericks are favored to win the series that I've seen online, and I mean, the Clippers have 3 players who have a history of stinky playoff situations. James
Pandemic
Harden, Paul George hitting I can still see him vividly hitting the side of the backboard on a corner 3. And Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard, granted, had that great run with the Raptors. You can put an asterisk by any NBA championship, so you can't really just be like, oh, he didn't deserve it. Warriors were hurt, got lucky against the 76ers.
Yep.
No, that was a good run for him. Got the championship. But outside of that and the run with the Spurs, dude hasn't really performed as well in the playoffs as everybody expected. I remember him signing to the Clippers, and everybody was like, it's game over. And here we are. When did he sign? 2019. So 2019, 2020 season, right? It was his first year.
Literally right before the bubble.
And here we are in 2024. So our freshman year of college.
Yep.
And you're graduated. I'm getting my master's degree, and we're still waiting for the first Clippers finals appearance still. And so, if that doesn't show you how bad the Clippers have been in the playoffs, I don't know what will. And then you go to the Mavericks, and I know you're going to probably hype up the Mavericks a bunch, but I mean, Luka is similar to Damian Lillard when it comes to playoff performances. And so, what are your thoughts? I'm going to let you kind of go first.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think besides that's when we started this off and we were looking at these matchups, like over in the West, like I think even this next series that we'll talk about, I'm excited for. But like especially like these 2 series with the LA teams, script writers could not have gotten it any more perfect. Like I love how much these 2 teams hate each other for really no reason besides the playoffs, if we're being real here. But yeah, it's like there's something different with the Mavs this year. Like, I mean, literally a year ago, Mavericks would have just missed the playoffs after acquiring Kyrie. The vibes were not good at all. Fast forward to here and now, the vibes are immaculate. They've emerged. All of a sudden, the dark horse for everybody's the Mavericks, which is kudos to them. Perfect. I really wish that didn't happen because now I just look like I hopped on the bandwagon. But let it be known, I was here since the beginning of the season. Anyway,
he was.
But yeah, no, I think, man, just the way that everything is like piecing together, just looks really, really good. For the Mavs overall. Granted, the Clippers have had some really, really good stints during the season. I mean, like after they got Harden, things went downhill. Then things went back uphill. And and now it's like kind of this weird like limbo, in my opinion, of like, the vibes were still pretty good, but at the same time, like everybody knows they're still the Clippers and haven't done anything ever in the playoffs since 2021, really. And so I am really excited for this. But yeah, I think I'm going with my Mavs, going with Mavs in 6, in my opinion. Probably Mavs in 7, but I could see this being over quicker, potentially, depending on how fast players like Pandemic P and James Frozen go down.
I love that. Yeah, I don't really have any opinions on either team. I like Luke. I love watching the Mavericks though, so I actually do have the Mavericks winning too. But we'll get back to that matchup. Other one, 3-6, which is funny because you look at the 3-6, and then if you think that one team would have won the season series 3-0, you would think the 3 seed would be the one that did that. But no, the Suns swept the Timberwolves in the regular season, and the Timberwolves walk in to the playoffs as the 3 seed, as the Suns walk into the 6 seed. I mean, Dawson has kind of been all over the Timberwolves this year. We'll get to his predictions too here in a little bit. What are your thoughts on this matchup? I mean, Suns stay healthy, they can be a dangerous team.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
mentioned real quick. Sorry, you mentioned from when we were talking on the East side in the NBA, great offense beats great defense, and so that's the Suns.
Yep. That is literally this matchup. And like you said, like it's literally gonna be a matter of like, is their big three in Phoenix gonna be healthy? Like we've been preaching it all season long of like the Suns. It's really hard to talk about the Suns team without discounting them. At the same time, it's really hard to put them at that higher tier because they are obviously a 6 seed, and there have been times where they've been healthy and still underperformed, even with 2 of them. Yeah, I think that's what, like, this is like you meant, like we just said, the prime time, great offense, great defense. Who wins? I think the thing I'm most excited for is to see Anthony Edwards and just where, like, this is his one shining moment now. This will be, obviously they've been in the playoffs before. This is the year though where like Ant has taken that leap, and now we're in the playoffs. What are you prepared to do about it? But yeah, at the same time, we have all witnessed the greatness that is Kevin Durant, regardless of how you feel about him at any point during the regular season or off the court things. Kevin Durant in the playoffs is incredible.
He's good at getting that foot on the 3-point line, though.
Really, really good at that too. Love seeing that on my timeline like every month. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. I think this goes 7 games. Honestly, I think it could go either way. I think I will probably, like I mentioned earlier, with great offense beating great defense, probably go with the Suns, not to discount the T-Wolves in any way.
Yeah. And I mean, when you look at the playoff bracket and you see the winner of this will play the winner of the Nuggets-Lakers series, which I think will go long too. Whoever can get their series done first and get more rest is going to win that next round, because both of these matchups I feel like are going to be absolute war, like just war games at this point. And I mean, do you want to get into our playoff predictions?
Let's do it.
Perfect. I will go through because Chase and Dawson were not here for our recording. Obviously, as you can see, if you're watching the stream or if you're listening to our podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, they're not here. So I will give their picks out. Do we want to start with the East side or the West?
Let's start out west. I'm interested to hear those picks.
All right. So we'll start with Dawson. So Dawson in the first round has all chalk except for the Mavericks beating the Clippers. So he has the Thunder beating the Pelicans, the Mavericks beating the Clippers, the Timberwolves beating the Suns, and the Nuggets beating the Lakers. And in the conference semifinals of that, he has the Mavericks beating the Thunder and the Nuggets beating the Timberwolves. And then in the conference finals, he has the Nuggets beating the Mavericks. For Chase, he has, I got to load up his notes here. Oh, he went round by round, not by Western and Eastern. Okay. He has Thunder. He assumed that the Kings were going to play the Thunder, but he still has the Thunder winning, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Clippers beating the Mavericks. Suns beating the T-Wolves, and the Lakers beating the Nuggets. Semifinals, he has the Clippers beating the Thunder. So he has the Clippers in the the Western Conference Finals, and the Lakers beating the Suns. And in the conference finals, of course, he has his Lakers making the NBA Finals.
It's a nice script. It's a nice script.
That's exactly why I think he said that's exactly why he went that way, was because of the script. But I'm interested to get your picks. What do you have in the Western side of things?
Alrighty, so I'll just take it down like how we have it presented up on our stream here. So I'm taking the Thunder in 4 or 5. I'm taking the Mavericks in 6 or 7. I said I'm taking the Suns in 6 or 7. Then give me the Lakers. Give me the Lakers in 7. Get Denver out of here, please. Then after that, I think I'm going with the Mavs over the Thunder as well. I think that'll be really interesting series. I think that's where we'll probably see the discrepancy between the amount of experience that the Thunder have versus the Mavs. And I think that will be, honestly, I think that matchup will be the next great rivalry for the Mavericks because they're literally rivals with
If
everybody.
Derek Lively can get healthy, Lively versus Holmgren and a
Mhm.
7-game series will be fun.
Yeah, it'll be incredible to watch. Incredible pure hoops, especially from the free throw line if your name is Shea. And then we got the Suns and the Lakers. I going with the Lakers. Lakers in 7. Lakers in 4, but actually in 7. So I think that'll be a good series. We'll finally be able to see LeBron and KD as it was meant to be, as it always should have been.
I mean, we saw it in the finals once.
One time. We don't talk about that anymore. And then we get to our Western Conference Finals. We got the Mavericks and the Lakers. Give me the Mavericks. Sorry, Chase.
You've been on the
Give me
Mavericks
the
all year,
Mavericks.
man.
Give me the Mavericks. We see Luka yet again. Finally, this time though, making the finals. See Luka take it to another level, which will be incredible. Must see TV.
We have similar picks, man. We have similar picks.
Love it.
I'm going Thunder over the Pelicans. Like you mentioned, 4 or 5. Honestly, I'm leaning towards more 4, but we'll see how that happens. I mean, what do they call that? The sympathy sweep or whatever when it goes to 5 after someone's up 3-0.
Gentleman's sweep.
Yeah. So that's something I wouldn't be shocked if that happens. Clippers, Mavericks. As much as I would love to see the Clippers and the Lakers play each other in the Western Conference Finals and it to be game 7 in crypto.com arena or whatever it's called as the Clippers home court technically, but the Lakers fans are going to absolutely take that place over for the final home game in that arena for the Clippers. As much as I want to see that,
That'd be wild.
I think the Mavericks are going to win.
That'd be wild.
I don't know. I really want to go to the Clippers. I really do. I just don't. I think everybody went the Mavericks though.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, except for see, that's the thing too, is like everyone hot on the Mavs now. Like if you are not the Denver Nuggets and picking the Denver Nuggets, you are probably picking the Mavericks.
I think I'm going to take the Mavericks. I'll go Mavericks. Yeah. I mean, me and you, we've been on the Mavericks train for a while, so.
Okay.
Timberwolves, Suns. I'm actually going to take the Timberwolves in this one. I feel like I don't know. It's the whole thing is I can't guarantee that the Suns are going to be healthy, and I mean, I could see Anthony Edwards having an unbelievable first round, like you mentioned, one shining moment, maybe even Big Purr. It's not Cat. Oh, I don't know if you listened to last week's episode. We were talking about his nickname, Big Purr. I was like, I no longer refer to him as Cat. It's Big Purr, no matter what now. But Karl Anthony Towns, could have a good series, as well as the man that is good at shutting down the entire league, Rudy Gobert. So,
Amen.
I'll go with the Timberwolves there. Then I'm going Lakers too.
Let's go.
So I think this is when they get over the hump. And I mean, again, LeBron realizes whether people realize it or not, but like LeBron realizes how close he is to retirement. So like he is going to literally destroy himself before he will lose a series. And I don't think he'll want to lose to the Nuggets again. Does not want to, and they'll come out on top. Thunder, Mavs. I guess numbers wise. So I'll go Thunder over the Pelicans in like 4 or 5. Clippers, Mavericks. I'll go Mavericks in 6. Timberwolves, Suns. I'll go Timberwolves in 6. And then Nuggets Lakers, I'm going to go. I don't think they'd beat the Nuggets in Game 7 at home. So I think I'd go Lakers in 6.
See, that's a tough thing. I think even though I pick Lakers 7, I think in order for the Lakers to win, they have to win either Game 1 or Game 2 on the road.
Yeah, they can't.
It will
win
require them to win early.
Yeah, so I'll go. So basically, a sweep in the first, the 1-8 seed, and then pretty much everything else is six games. Timberwolves could win in 7, but they have the fortunate of being in the home court advantage thing. Thunder, Mavericks and 5. Luka's gonna. I have a good feeling about Luka in this playoffs run. I just do. I think that his experience is going to outweigh the Thunder and their talent. Not saying that the Mavericks aren't talented like the Thunder are, but they're the 1 seed for a reason. Timberwolves, Lakers, going Lakers in 4. They're gonna sweep them. I don't think the Timberwolves are ready for the Lakers. So Lakers and Mavericks. Lakers in 6.
Oh, Lakers.
So,
oh my goodness.
The Lakers are going to be making the finals, and a preview to the Eastern side of things. It's going to be the finals matchup that I've been wanting for a while now. But yeah, Eastern side, that's the Western side. So a little recap. Hunter has the Mavericks making the finals, which is a great pick. He's been on the Mavericks pretty much all year. So he's the only guy I think that hasn't jumped off their bandwagon or the wagon that they've been on from the beginning of the year. Maybe Chase. I think Chase picked the Lakers to go to the finals. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. But assuming we know Chase probably did to start the year. But he also Chase did end up taking the Lakers to the finals as well. Did I? And then Dawson picks Hunter's favorite team in the Nuggets to make the NBA Finals. Eastern side of things. Dawson goes chalk in the first round. So he's got the Celtics over the Heat, Cavs over the Magic, Bucks over the Pacers, and Knicks over the Sixers. And then the second round, he has the Celtics over the Cavs and the Knicks over the Bucks, which I find to be a little interesting, but that's not neither here nor there. So he has a 1 versus 2 matchup in the Eastern Conference Finals between the Celtics and the Knicks, and he has the Celtics winning. So he has the Celtics versus the Denver Nuggets in the NBA Finals. And then you got Chase, who has the Celtics beating the Heat, the Cavs over the Magic, the Bucks over the Pacers, and the 76ers over the Knicks. So he's got that 7 seed with that upset in the first round over the New York Knicks. Conference semifinals, he has the Celtics over the Cavs and the Bucks over the Bucks over the Sixers. Conference finals, he has the Celtics over the Bucks, so he's setting up for a Lakers Celtics finals. I know Hunter's a little disappointed in Chase for making that pick. I will say I sat with Chase at Buffalo Wild Wings when he was filling this out, and he was having a tough time deciding between whether or not to take the Sixers to the conference finals, the Bucks to the conference finals, or the Bucks to the finals, or the Celtics to the finals. So he did put a lot of thought into it.
But, Chase, if it's Lakers Bucks finals, you're not invited to my watch party anymore.
Am I?
I guess, yeah. You're not a huge Bucks hater.
No, honest, dude. It's like the Warriors for me. I never really hated the Warriors. Maybe it got a little annoying with the Kevin Durant thing, but like I never hated him because they were like, honestly, dude, I can't hate the Chiefs. They're really good. So it's like you can't hate them because they're just really good. If they were like the Nuggets, where it's like annoying and like they don't actually seem like that great of a team, but whatever. We're done talking about the Nuggets. Go ahead, give us your picks for the Eastern Conference side.
All righty. So in a shocking turn of events, I am taking the Miami. No, I'm not taking Miami.
I was going to say you would have to finish the show if you were going to pick Miami.
I'm taking the Celtics. As funny as I think the Heat winning this series after last year as the 8 seed against the Celtics 1 seed, as amazing as that would be, I don't see that happening. I get very similar 2021 vibes from this Miami Heat team. Scary Terry as a number one option in the playoffs. Sorry, former Scary Terry man, Boston Celtic
legend. I think
I'm
I still have
really
his hoodie.
that's wild.
Here, keep giving your picks. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
But yeah, as much as I would love to see that, I don't think it happens. Cavs and Magic, like I said, I think this is kind of a disgusting, gritty series, but I'm taking the Cavs in like 4 or 5. Sorry, not the Celtics. Bucks and Pacers, taking Bucks and 6 for the culture. I think it'll be a competitive series, like I mentioned before. I really don't want the same heartbreak I experienced last year, so I'm distracting myself by picking Bucks and 6. Now for this last one, the Knicks and the Sixers. I know I hyped up the Sixers earlier. I'm taking the Knicks though. I think there is something different about that team. I think it goes 7 games for sure though. The big factor is going to be can Mr. Dirt himself, Isaiah Hartenstein, if you know, you know, Dirt Hartenstein, can he stay and stick with Embiid? Because they kind of need him on the floor to be able to space out at times, even though Hartenstein's not like the absolute greatest shooter ever. He does help out a lot, which gives Brunson a lot more room to work with. And if he can't be that much of a threat, I think that's where I swing the other way. But I'm counting on the Knicks to win. Oh, that took so much longer than I thought it was going to. So
I
after
did not
that,
find my hoodie. I used to have a hoodie with Scary Terry.
Dang. So then we got Celtics and Cavs. Again, as much as I would love to see Dean Wade average 30 over like 5 games.
Why do you wish
Celtics
this upon me? Why do you wish
it would be like this? The Celtics have the funniest matchups possible. That's why I hope that even if the Magic win, there was a joke from last year that the Magic would just consistently beat the Celtics as a horrible team. To see them finally do that in the playoffs would be incredible. But yeah, I'm still
invited to my watch party anymore.
I'm still taking the Celtics though. Ultimately, if you want to make it to the finals, you got to get through Boston. So I think they're going to make it to Eastern Conference Finals. Now, for Bucks and Knicks, sorry, Isaac, taking Bucks and 6 again for the culture. I do think it'll be competitive. I hope I think that would be like the upgrade between the Cavs and Magic game if our defense figures things out where it could just be some nasty hoops sometimes. But it would be so tough for the Knicks to go deep, in my opinion. It just would be too tough. And when you have a 1-2 punch, Giannis and Dame, it's been destined since the beginning to see a Bucks Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. It's going to happen.
Just wish Grant Williams would be there.
More on that later. Lastly, finally, Celtics Bucks. Tale is as old as 2022. Give me the Bucks. Give me the Bucks in 7 this time. I'm a homer. I'll admit it.
Beating the Celtics on the home court. Oh, dude, if they do that 2 years in a row, if they do that 2 years in a row in Game 7, I swear, dude,
they beat the Demons finally.
As long as Jason Tatum doesn't tweak his ankle 10 seconds into the game, dude, I can't get over that happened. Like the odds, and it was like, well, he's not going to check himself out, so he's just going to sit in the corner and not do anything. So it was 4-5 for that whole Game 7.
Yep, that was a tough one. But yeah, I'm taking my Milwaukee Bucks in 7 on the road, beating the Demons in the Boston Celtics, which makes me have a Mavericks Bucks finals.
All right. Celtics and I don't know how many games. I'm just not even gonna like.
Could it finish in 3? Could it finish in 3 games?
No.
Okay. So at least
Celtics
4.
in more than 4 games. At least 4 games. If it was the 80s, maybe in 3. But
that was.
Yeah. I don't have a read on this Heat team without Jimmy Butler. Who knows when Jimmy Butler is going to be back? The longer this series goes, the worse it is for the Celtics, though. So the earlier that they can get out of this situation, the better. The Cavaliers, Magic, Cavs. Mitchell's going to just do Mitchell things and set up a Celtics Cleveland series, I say this one could go to 5-6. I think this could be a good one because I think there will be nights where Cleveland may be cold outside of Mitchell, which could result in the Mavericks sneaking out with a couple of them. At the same time, I think I saw like the Cavs since the All-Star break are like 20th in points per possession or something like that. So their offenses went down a little bit, which benefits the Magic, who love playing Iowa State basketball and playing defense. Bucks Pacers, Bucks in 5. Enough said. I really don't feel confident in the Pacers at all. Honestly, it's going to probably be a gentleman's sweep. So I don't be shocked if the Bucks are up 3-0. Knicks 76ers. I hate the Knicks, hate the Sixers. So I really don't care. However, I think this, again, people who think that they want the higher seed is not always a good option in the Eastern Conference anymore. Sometimes it's better being the lower seed. No offense, Hunter. Bucks learned that last year. Not that they intentionally didn't get the 2 seed, because I don't think teams do that. However, for the Knicks, it's going to prove to be an issue for them. And I think the Sixers are going to win in 6 games against the New York Knicks to set up a Bucks 76ers semifinals. So we got Celtics versus Cavs and the 76ers versus Bucks in the conference semifinals. And we have the Celtics beating the Cavs in 5. And the 76ers beating the Bucks in 7. Sorry, Hunter.
All right.
I honestly, I don't have like a legit like pages worth of stats of like why this would happen. I just have a really good feeling about the 76ers team this year. Similar to like some people who did pick the Heat to win last year or make it as far as they did. I just something about this team this year is just different than the other 76ers teams that I've seen in the past. So Celtics, 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Celtics in 6. They'll win in Philadelphia, set up a legendary NBA Finals, and the Lakers and the Celtics battle for the banner number 18. Get that play in or regular season tournament banner out. That doesn't matter. That doesn't count. Just that. If anybody wants to talk about fake championships, that's a fake championship. Like, that's so stupid. So playing for the legitimate banner number 18, both teams have 17 NBA championships, and it'll be a legendary matchup finally. And I don't know why I want this so bad, because it's like I don't want to deal with LeBron anymore. But it's like if the Celtics could win the finals against LeBron, you know how crazy Celtics like. I felt full disclosure, if that happens, the Celtics beating the Lakers in the finals. Not only are they beating the Lakers, but they're beating their probably the most hated NBA player that the Celtics have ever had. Like, I think LeBron, if you ask Celtics fans who do they hate the most, I don't think Jordan's up there, definitely top 5, easily top 3 probably. But it's probably LeBron number 1. So, and Celtics Twitter would be unbearable. No offense, like, and I'm a Celtics fan. But yeah, I got Celtics Lakers in the finals. So Dawson in his finals, just for a reminder to everybody, had the Nuggets and the Celtics, and he has the Nuggets beating the Celtics, going back-to-back in NBA finals and going back-to-back NBA championships, which we hate. We don't want the Nuggets to do that. Chase has the Lakers beating the Celtics, obviously, in the NBA Finals. So he has this Lakers getting banner 18 over the Celtics. Hunter, you have the Bucks and the Mavericks. That's a dream come true for you if that happens in the NBA Finals. But obviously, you have one team that you favor more. So how many games is it going to take for the Bucks to win the title?
As a once wise man once said, for the Milwaukee Bucks, it's Bucks in 6, baby. It's Bucks in 6 for the culture. Always got to pick it.
I respect that. Obviously, I'm going to go with the Celtics over the Lakers. I think this one could be like a Celtics in 5. I don't think they would win in LA, so it'd be 5 or 7. So no 6. That's all I will say. So wait. Yeah. No, I'm doing math wrong. Yeah. Yeah, I'm right because it's 1-1-1. I keep forgetting I hate like every once in a while like old games showing up on my timeline on like Instagram or Twitter, and I forget that it used to be what was it 2-2-3
Something
or
like that.
what was it 2-3? No, 2-3-2. I think it was, and like
Something
imagine
weird.
like those games were different. Like the Spurs and the Heat. Game 6 was in San Antonio and not in Miami.
That'd be wild.
Ray Allen does not make that corner 3 and crush my spirits. But yeah, so I got the Celtics beating the Lakers. Chase has the Lakers beating the Celtics. Hunter has the Bucks getting back to the finals after a couple years and beating the Mavericks. And Dawson has the stupid pick of the Nuggets and Celtics and the Nuggets winning the NBA Finals. So yeah, those are playoff predictions. Real quick, just because we do it every episode. I mean,
We're here.
we got to keep it doing. I got to see if I can find the same song.
I've been on my hiatus. I've been on my
Yes.
hiatus out here in Nebraska, so it's
See if I
been
can find the right song. I think
been
this
a hot minute.
Yep, it was this one.
Here we go. Yeah. Here we
So
go.
it is now time for a classic segment that we always do on the Hardwood Convos. Sensei Rose's wise words of wisdom. Hunter gets free reign to basically talk about anything, whether it's revolving about the NBA or not. And usually it's not necessarily hot takes, but just interesting takes, we'll say. So, Hunter, when you're ready, feel free to go ahead.
Alrighty. Well, as the homer I am, I've been gone for a while, so I've been able to keep you all updated on all my Bucks thoughts and opinions. So, of course, you already know what we're talking about today. There's been some incredible stuff, some funny things, but we'll get there at some point. Maybe in a different pod sometime. But we're starting it off with a player that has taken some drastic ups and downs in my head, named Bobby Portis. Love the man, but he can infuriate me so many times. But he's been playing pretty good at the end of the season for the most part, especially in Giannis's absence. Really stepped up and into a role of shooting more, which this time I was happy with because there's other people on the team that I really hoped would not shoot the ball more. So if you remember or don't remember, Bobby Portis was someone that I was like, I would not be the most upset man in the world if he got traded. And there are a handful of rumors out there, but one of which named that I was not a fan of, but was rumored, and a lot of Bucks fans that I follow weren't happy about actually either. Bobby Portis for Grant Williams, straight up.
I knew this was coming.
Nasty business. But this is where it gets good though. So recently, Bobby Portis was kind of asked a little bit about time in Milwaukee, things like that. It was a really good interview. However, he commented on some of the trade things going around, and I quote, "When I got hints of, I'm like, ain't no way I'm getting traded for. Excuse my French. That's my guy. I love competing against him. But I shouldn't get traded for Grant Williams. That don't even sound right. Confidence through the roof. I'm ready for playoff basketball. Let me tell you, name dropping the man. Granted, it's not like he's going to see him in the playoffs because Hornets stink. But I think it's hilarious that he really just was like, I love this guy. No way I should be trading for name drop Grant Williams. Incredible stuff. Yes. Thank you. Love me some Bobby. Let's get this man another ring. Secondly, a lot of Bucks disrespect going on past years, but past few weeks in general. One of which is a story that's kind of been going around a lot during the season. Obviously, Damian Lillard was acquired right before the season started. During the offseason, there was a lot about where he supposedly wanted to go, which was Miami. He's been relatively open about that, which I did not appreciate at the time, and then learned he was traded to Milwaukee and then became an instant fan yet again. Which, another fun fact, Damian Lillard after the Chris Paul thing has been one of my favorite. Like, I love watching Damian Lillard, even before he was a Buck. So I was ecstatic to see him traded. I predicted it definitely was not being joking about him being traded. However, something that's just been surrounded is like, man, this guy he's not happy in Milwaukee. He doesn't want to be here. Stephen A was even like, if the Bucks lose, you might need to look at getting rid of Damian Lillard. It's like, shut up. Like, stop talking. Damian Lillard finally commented on it in a Bucks press conference. I think it was like after a practice, something like that. Or he says, I saw somebody say Dame's not happy in Milwaukee or something like that. And I know the truth. I love the situation that I'm in. I also know what I have going on outside of basketball. That kind of drains me at times. Man's going through a lot. I won't speak on exactly what he's going through. You can look for yourself. I'm not here to comment on that. However, he is going through some very difficult things. Don't appreciate everyone like get him out of Milwaukee. Start trading him. No. He's my Milwaukee Buck. Damian Lillard plays for my Milwaukee Bucks, and you can't have him. Stop mentioning it. And lastly, some more disrespect. Giannis Antetokounmpo is not going to get unanimous first-team All-NBA after a 5-year streak of doing so because fat man Kendrick Perkins doesn't understand how to read the back of a cereal box. And instead of Jalen, I'm still mad. He's going to ruin the streak because put Jalen Brunson in instead of Giannis. That is atrocious. He's averaging 30 points a game on 60% field goal shooting. First time in NBA history. And you don't put him in first NBA team, not even within the MVP conversation, but not even on a first team All NBA. That is atrocious. And I'm calling for jobs at this point. But another little fun fact about Giannis, because something Rocky mentioned earlier, like, not the best at spacing the floor, but you can't stop him down low either. A little fun fact from the season. Giannis Antetokounmpo from NBA University, shout out NBA University on Twitter, great account. Giannis Antetokounmpo led the NBA in rim field goal attempts with 853. That's a lot of running and dunking. To give that, we have some perspective. Second place is Zion, not surprising. He has 132 more attempts than Zion in second place. So you would guess, most people would guess, hey, the more shots you take, clearly the more shots you miss, right? Like your efficiency goes down. Well, fun fact, Giannis also is the most efficient rim scorer in the NBA at 77.5%. He gets there the most, and he scores the most. Let's put him in the conversation he deserves to be in, that he has not been for whatever reason. I'll say this, people can be free to disagree, he's the best scorer in the NBA. He just is. Because he gets to where he needs to go, and he scores the basketball. This is the same man, by the way, that's not first team All NBA according to Kendrick Perkins. I rest my case. I'm very heated, as you can all tell. I had to get that off of my chest.
That was great, man. I knew there was a couple things in the box coming in, but I didn't realize all of those were going to be mentioned.
I figured we go with all of it. So that's all I got.
That was great. I mean, playoff basketball is here, man. It's an amazing time of the year. It means that the summer is close and weather's going to get better. I mean, it's a little chilly here in Iowa still. I don't know how. Has it been getting warm in Nebraska?
We were maybe supposed to get snow this weekend. So I hope that doesn't happen.
Well, hopefully you don't get snow. Hopefully your Bucks can come out with a game 1 win. I know you're hoping for the Heat to get a game 1 win, but we don't have to comment on that. But yeah, everybody enjoy the games. Make sure to tune in next week. We'll recap some of the games and preview if some of them are still going on, depending on when we record. You got Bucks winning it over the Mavericks in the NBA Finals. I have the Celtics over the Lakers. Chase has the Lakers over the Celtics, and Dawson has the Nuggets over the Celtics. So 3 people taking the Celtics to the finals, which scares the crap out of me because really you took the Bucks, not just because they're a good team, but like kind of out of bias. So it's still kind of like a sweep of people taking the Celtics. So just proves that everybody and their mom is on the Celtics making the finals. So I can't wait to be sad. I mean, here, let me pull it up. I got a quote. I think I've sent you this before about my life as my life as a Celtics fan. I sent this to my some of my buddies at Iowa State during the playoffs last year because they don't care about the NBA. They just like making fun of me. So I said, if I ever find someone that loves me as much as the Celtics love to break my heart, for the love of God, I'm putting a ring on that MFer.
Amen. Amen.
And
Great
so
quote.
how many times they've broken my heart, we'll see if they can find a new way to do it. And you know what? Losing to the Lakers in the finals with LeBron on that roster, that's
That'd
a
be
new way
something.
to do it. So,
That'd be all time.
all right. Well, enjoy the games, everybody. We'll be back next week here on the 515 Podcast Network to recap games and preview future games here in the NBA. Enjoy the games.